Hi guys, Davin here from brewgas. Now, one of the areas that we get asked for advice on quite regularly are gas leaks, especially when it comes to the valves that are on tops of the kegs or pressure barrels. So these are really simple little bits of kit, so I thought I would go through with you a few of the reasons as to why you might have some gas leaks and how to rectify them. First place is this rubber washer in here. So before you put it onto your pressure barrel, you need to smear the inside of this, give it a good coating of Vasseline. Come back to me, James. Then when you screw it down on top of your barrel, that should help create a seal. So if you've noticed that once you've injected your gas, that it's coming out from under here, you know, around the cap itself, then it's probably that it's either not tightened enough, so give it an extra little tiny tweak, or it could be that you haven't put any Vasseline on your seal. That's number one. You may also want to check around the screws of your barrel to make sure that there's no dinks or dents, you know, because if you've taken a spoon out or something like that and you have donk on the top, you can inadvertently create a little tiny dent, and that could be where your gas is escaping from. But anyway, first of all, remember to Vasseline the seal. So one of the other areas that gas can leak is around this black washer here, right at the bottom. So this black washer is simply held in place by the inside, by this little nut. So all you need to do with a pair of pliers is give that nut a tweak, and that should then pull the valve down onto the black washer and the black washer down onto the cap, and hey presto, any leak from there should be eliminated. Simple as that. So you might find that sometimes when you inject gas in, it comes back out where you've injected it in once you've taken your CO2 off. So I'm talking about inside here. You can feel it because it would be cold, or you might just hear it by putting your ear right over the top of it, and you can sometimes find out that the gas is coming back out of there. So that hole on the inside there, where the pin is, relates to a hole just under in the middle of this post. So what I'm going to do to make our lives easier, James, here's a valve here that I've taken off earlier. So again, here's our pin valve, and that pin valve on the inside there, there's a hole drilled all the way down through the body of the valve, and that hole comes through into this post. And you can see, I hope you can get that, James, there is a hole in this post, and if I turn it all the way around, that hole goes right the way through. Okay, can you see that, James? So on the post here, you will see there was a little bit of thin rubber. Very little bit of thin rubber. Now this bit of rubber has to be flat against the post, no wrinkles, no ruffles, because sometimes what can happen is that dust builds up in this cavity here, and when you inject your CO2, it pushes the gas and the dust down through the hole in the center and out into one of these two holes either side of this post. And annoyingly, if there's any bits of dust in there, that gets stuck between the brass post and the rubber sleeve, and that just creates this microscopic little gap that the gas can escape from. So all you need to do, come on in, James, have a look at this. It's quite difficult to do because I've not got the thing. You need a good pair of nails on your fingers, and you literally just pull it back, release any dust that might be in there. Do the same on the opposite side, because as I said, there's two holes. Release any dust that might be in there, and make sure it's back in place on the post over the two holes. One of the last places that gas can leak, again, I'm staying with my capless valve here, is through this little hole here. So this little hole here, James, that again goes all the way back up through and comes out underneath on the main body of the post, just under the threads where you screw the gas canister on. And can you see that hole just there under a big elastic rubber band? And there's only one hole. Now this actually is your pressure relief valve, so it should only come out through here if your barrels exceeded 15 psi, because that's the working pressure of these valves. Again though, you might find that there could be some dust or some crap, or it's not been seated quite nicely all the way around. So again, make sure that there's no dust underneath by rolling it back and letting it flip back into place. Make sure that it's all nicely flat and sat around on the metal post. So the last one is, if you notice on the inside of the top here, you have got a little black O-ring. So as you've injected your CO2 in, so it's injected in, you don't have to unscrew it. You can simply leave it like this. And that little O-ring inside is now pressed hard against the canister, the gas canister, and that will also help prevent any gas escaping. So hopefully, if you've got a gas leak on your cap, one of those little fixes there should remedy it nicely. If you find that there are issues with any of your washers or your little bits of rubber, then we do sell spares on our websites, and they're quite cheap and you get the whole set, and so you just replace them all at the same time. And we've got the sets, in the set also includes the ones for the big 4-inch king keg tops as well. So hopefully, if you have got a gas leak, whether that be because or at the point that you notice it when you're injecting gas in and it squirts back out, whether you've just pulled off some beer and it's not really flowing really fast, and you're wondering why the secondary fermentation hasn't created all this gas, those are the little things to check. So just a quick recap: Vasseline your rubber washer. Your black washer on the outside, just tweak your nut on the inside to make sure it's nice and all tight. Then you've got this rubber over the post where you've got your 2 holes, so make sure first of all your 2 holes are covered, and then also make sure that there's no debris inside of there. And lastly, is this hole which goes around to this rubber. Make sure this rubber is also nice and flush with the brass valve, and that is also over the hole. Hopefully that should rectify it.